I was always a dancer.
I'm professionally trained ballet and contemporary dancer. I started dancing when I was 21, professionally. Before that, for a few years, I used to do a little bit break dancing.
I am a professional dancer, currently working with the Dance Works, and I'm one of their principal soloists with the performing company called Navdhara.
I am Achintya Bose, and I'm currently a dancer at the Dance Works Performing Arts Academy.
I'm a professional contemporary dancer and a jazz teacher with a company by the name of the Dance Works.
It's been 20 years now, almost 20 years in TDX. Like I said, started in Delhi. Now I'm in Mumbai. So currently I'm the HOD for the jazz
For
division.
me, a professional dancer, few things that they need is one is consistency, because it's like a long-term dance form. Like dancing requires a certain number of years of training.
Should be firstly driven by passion.
So patience is something which is really need of the hour, because you cannot become a professional dancer overnight. You gotta train. As simple as that.
They have to be very, very disciplined in their heads, in their bodies.
Hard work is really important, because I don't think in my last 20 years of teaching what I've seen, a lot of talented people came, but the hardworking ones always take over.
They also need to have a very good rhythmic and a musical quality. So musicality also plays a very, very, very important role.
Self-awareness, space awareness.
You have to be more daring to take steps.
You know, like they say, where there's a will, there's a way.
This is like again 20 years back. Me and my friend, we were performing in colleges. So one day we thought, you know what? Anyways, we are winning. Now let's train. Let's trustfully train somewhere and figure out where we can go and join. And then we saw this Dance Works ad, and we went upstairs, 5th floor, and we opened the door and we saw some 30-40 dancers doing these massive shinny turns, attitude jumps, and some different world. Initially, it was just, of course, it was like, oh, okay, let's try this. But later on, I think, besides the physical part of it, very physically pushed, there was also emotional push. There was a creative push, spiritual push, and it made me find more of me. And I think that's what I really liked about it. And that's when I said, okay, you know what, let's give it a shot. It was an accident, going into more like falling in love with it. And it's been 20 years and I'm still doing it. And it's not been a working day. Not a single day have I worked.
I never wanted to become a dancer in the school. And I saw a movie, Akshay Kumar was dancing. He did a backflip in Aflatun movie. So I wanted to do a backflip because it's like really crazy. Like when you do somersault and people go, wow. And then after a while, when I learned that, and the hunger developed for learning more moves.
So I got to know about Michael Jackson on the day of his death, because I had gone to music class and Michael Jackson had just died and I got to know. So I mean, started then when I started looking at, Michael Jackson's videos, and I was like inspired by the moonwalk. I was like, oh, what is this? And I started practicing, and eventually, I guess over a period of 10 years, I decided I want to train comedy.
I remember when I was much younger, the only dance form that I had heard of was Bollywood. I think the first dance video or a dance movie that I saw was This Is It, which was made in Michael Jackson. So that really inspired me to really look out for things as to learning that kind of a dance form. The closest thing that fell into that that bracket of dancing was jazz.
There are like so many challenges on a daily basis.
First of all, like being a guy and taking up dancing in India was a big deal.
Like especially our families, like they don't see dance as a career. And also because I did a ballet, so it's also feminine a little bit. So also it here and there, like people think like, why are you doing a girls dance and all? So because lack of knowledge.
Then I think the 7th or 8th class, something happened and ballet class happened, and they asked us to wear tights. And we died, me and my friend died. We were like, oh shit, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? So that was challenging for us, for our own mindset that time, because we were not thinking that big. It was a challenge of money. Because back then, in a dancing world, in your learning time, there's a time to learn, there's a time to earn. In your learning phase, you can't expect to earn so much.
Dancing, if you start training properly, there'll be certain demands, such as being flexible, understanding music, rhythm, and the rigor. Certain movements that you need to understand. So I mean, that was challenging.
Company dancers' daily life would be very different to freelance dancers. My life in particular as a dancer, I think it's pretty similar to any international format of how a company functions. So you have your ballet class in the morning, we have other classes like jazz and contemporary training sessions, and then we go into rehearsals depending on the piece that if we're either creating something or if we have a show coming up or we have a music video or something like that.
It is an emotional ride because from morning starting a ballet class, doing suddenly a beautiful form where everything is pretty and like a prince, and then suddenly you then go into contemporary class, which suddenly sometimes earth down, maybe sometimes dark. So different emotion you have to go through.
Now, as I said earlier, because people employ perspective, a dancer also needs to find an evening job for himself or herself, which can be teaching, or a lot of dancers work as fitness instructors, or dancers work in different restaurants to wait tables, or as cashiers in Starbucks or CCDs.
The heaviest part of a week for a dancer's life is the weekend, okay? And if it's a Saturday, that's even more hectic because for us it's like we come in, we do ballet, then we have an academy meeting, then we have more classes, and then we directly go into academy classes in the evening. So it's like we are dancing from 8 in the morning till 10 in the night, back to back.
Dancer don't become in the class, they become after class, the homework you do, because everyone learns the same thing from the teacher, but how you apply it, how much hard work you put after the class. So you take extra hours afterwards to revise the things, to put it in your body, to learn in another way.
Advice to people would be that it's a long journey. The destination is good, but the journey is what really matters.
Just be very, very goal oriented. If you want to have a clear goal as to what kind of dancer or what form of dancing you want to take up.
I still believe if you really want to dance, go for it. If you have a passion for it, go for it. But also remember that you have to be willing to give what it takes.
Amount of music and physical exploration that we do, that is my favorite part, because we listen to so much music and we explore different kinds of movement physically, use muscles that you didn't even know existed before. That is my favorite part of being a dancer, definitely.
I love being on stage. That's the most favorite part for a dancer, and for me as well.
After the performance, when people clap, that's the best thing, being a dancer, because that pay all your hard work, your body pain, your countless hours of practice, to hear that clap and the appreciation from all the people when the performance ends.
The sense of, completion in your heart that you get, and that's what keeps you going. It's what makes me feel at home.
Because I love doing this, so I'm lucky.